Good day, everyone. I am Samuel Lamina. I'm one of ICAN Prize Winners. So I'll be addressing the questions that says, "Can I pass ICAN without lectures?" And I'm telling you that it is a yes from me. And I'm talking from experience. I wrote my skill level without attending lectures, and I passed. I even had 90s in 3 of the courses, and I'm one of the prize winner for that diet. Right? So it is very, very possible. Right? It is very, very possible, and it starts from your mindset. Right? It starts from your mindset. If you have the mind and you believe that you can do it, there's nothing impossible for you to achieve. So yes, you can pass ICAN without lectures, but I will just share with you my own experience, how I was able to do it, and what are those things that I made use of that helped me to scale through my skill level without attending lectures. Right? I'm not saying that attending lecture is bad. We all know our capacity. We know what we can do. I mean, we know our strengths and our weaknesses. Attending lecture is very, very good because it simplifies some areas to you that you help you to have deep understanding about some of the topics, and it can even boost your morale before writing the paper. So it's very, very good. But due to one reason or the other, some of us might not be chance to attend lectures, right? And we will want to do self-study. So it's very possible for you to pass ICAN exam. So before you can say you want to do self-study, you must check yourself, you must assess yourself and see if you have sound knowledge of the papers at the levels you want to write. If you are going to write skills, you have to assess yourself. Do I have sound knowledge, like a deep understanding of the courses that I'm about to write? So it is very, very important. For me, I'm a graduate of accounting first class, right? So to a reasonable extent, I can say that I have sound knowledge of all the papers at skill level because I see them as the course as papers that I've written while I was in school, and I felt that it shouldn't be a problem for me to pass that. I will tell you my story, right? So God helped me. I was able to do that. But first, you must have sound knowledge. You must be sure of yourself that you have good knowledge of all the papers. And the next thing that I will also tell you is that you must plan properly. There's this saying that if you fail to plan, that means you plan to fail. You must plan properly. One of the things I did during my own time that I feel might be of help to you was that even before we started preparation for the exam, right? So I picked each month for a paper. I remember I started with transaction in January. I think February I went to another course. March I went to another course. April I had to share it. April into two. I had to read each papers per month, and I ensured that I covered the whole study pack for each of those papers. I took it from the very first chapter and I read it to the last chapter. I made summaries from each of those study packs. I have them in my own separate jotters because I understand the way I study best. I'm the type of person that when I'm studying, I love to jot. So when I'm reading and I'm not jotting, it's just as if I'm not doing anything, right? Except if it is something that I've studied in time past. But if it's something that is new, or if it's something that I'm aiming to pass, right, I need to jot down. So I don't joke with my jottings. As I'm reading each of those topics in each of those courses, I'm writing out my points so that whenever I'm reading my notes again, I have deep understanding of those topics. Remember, I said the first thing is for you to have a deep understanding. Like, you must be a graduate of accounting, or you must have done something related to accounting while in school, and you must have excelled in it. So you need proper planning, right? When I was preparing for my skill level, one thing that helped me was that I have agreed to study the pack from beginning to the end. I have agreed to study past question making use of Pathfinder for at least 10 diets. 10 diets. Imagine I treated 7 questions for 10 diets. So I treated like 70 questions if I'm going to do the math like that for each of those papers. So there's no way you will do all those ones that you will not have at least a pass mark in the exam if you are going to study by yourself. So you need proper planning. You have to study the pack. You have to treat past questions. And if possible, you have to seek for other knowledge from other materials, right? If you are supposed to go online to check some videos, to read some materials, you need to do that, right? Another thing is that you must study voraciously. You must study with hunger, because you can't just afford to fail. You must study with hunger. You study your packs, you study your past questions, you study your textbook, and you must be good with time management, right? These things are what are very, very necessary. Your preparation determines a lot. If your preparation is not solid before you enter that examination or that day, I'm telling you, your chances of passing the exam is very, very slim. So you must be able to manage your time. You have to study and divide the time evenly, regardless of how hard the course may be. You have to divide the time evenly among all your papers that you are writing, right? You have to ensure that you are mentally and medically fit, because you are not attending lectures. You have to ensure that you are sound medically and you are sound mentally. It's not a time for you to say you are nursing one ailment. Once you notice any symptoms of any sickness, treat it immediately. Because if you think that you have time and you are procrastinating, the day the examination will come upon you, you will be shocked. So you must manage your time very, very well. And another thing is that you have to pray to God. Irrespective of your religion, you have to pray to God. If you are a Christian, pray to God. If you are a Muslim, pray to God. And if you are neither both, you still have to pray to God, because it's only God that can help you to achieve the success that you want to achieve in ICAN. So let me tell you my story, right? So when I started preparing for ICAN, I started late December, right? I was starting with my taxation. I ensured that I read it from first topic to the last topic. But because I'm an accounting graduate, I find it so easily to read on myself. It was just as if I was revising my school notes. So after tax, I moved to the next. After that, I moved to the next. After that, I moved to the next up to the 5th paper. So I did that for all my papers. I assigned a minimum of 30 days to each of those papers so that I can have time to read them without overlooking any topics, right? So I did that for all my papers. Then I took the Pathfinders. I did at least 10 diets for each of those papers so that I can have vast knowledge. And this is one thing Pathfinder will help you. It will show you how to answer questions in exams, right? It's not as if you don't know what the examiner is asking, but the examiner is expecting you to answer that question in a particular way. So if you are able to decode that way and you are able to provide your answer using that approach, I'm telling you, you will get the point. An example is tax. Taxation will require you to do some computations, right? And make some advice to the company. So whenever you are doing taxation, you must be ready to write reports. Even if you have done your computation, you just have to write a report. Make it look formal. Report, because if your boss asks you to do some computation, imagine you are working with him, will you just do the mathematics and give it to him? No, you have to write a formal report to him that based on what you asked me to do, I've been able to do it and these are my findings. It might just be 6 sentences or 7 sentences and you sign it off. Mainly doing that, you have attracted the attention of the examiner and I'm telling you, you are going to have a good result. Good mark for that particular question. So by the time you study the Pathfinder, it will show you how to answer the questions. It will show you the keywords that are important in some topics, right? And it will even show you some of those topics that are often repeated in ICAN questions. So if you study the past question, you see the method, you see the process, and you see how to answer the questions, right? So you also need additional textbooks. Let me share you my experience. So I took five papers in the skill level. I did self-study. My FR, I had 58 in my papers, in my FR, and I would just say it's the grace of God. But I felt like if I had gone for lectures, or if I had used additional material apart from the study packs and the PQ, probably I would have done better than that, because I only focused on the study pack and the Pathfinder for my skill level. So, and I'm able to do that because I have at least a reasonable sound knowledge in all those papers. So the summary of everything is that you can pass ICAN without attending lectures, but you must you must believe in yourself, one, and you must assess yourself if you have what it takes, because it's not a matter of forming. If you have what it takes, then you can do that. So there's nothing impossible for everyone that is willing, right? But you must check your strengths to see if you can do it. So passing ICAN without lectures is very, very possible. I have done it, and you can also do it. I believe my experience will inspire you to also make necessary decisions. If you know that you are not able to study on your own, I advise you to attend tutorials where you can have good lectures on all those topics. It is better to attend, write your exams, and make your paper once than to do self-study and you have issues with it if you are not sure of yourself. So I hope I've been able to make it clear. Thank you.